That party people. I hope you guys can hear me. How are you guys doing? Germany. Oh, hello, hello. Man, it's been a while since I did this sort of thing. Kind of nervous. Let's wait until a couple more people. Scala condition, what do you mean? Scala is doing fine. Actually, we can look at into this a little bit later. I went to Google Trends a couple of weeks ago. No, nothing is dying. Nothing is dying in our industry, ever, okay? Nothing is dying, but if you go to Google Trends, then you will actually kind of see that the biggest hype time ago. Wave kind of goes like this. Sort of like the belt, but more flat. I don't have too much agenda for today, but just kind of assume that, you know, questions about what happened, just tell you like a little background and stuff. Like I'm planning to do like an hour stream maximum. You think it's difficult to move? Is this a question? Like, do you think it's difficult to move from Java to Scala, or statement? Because I kind of did, but I'm not sure if my experience counts because I discovered Scala at the university. So, like at the time, I had like semesters of Java, and I like learned Java like 2 or 3 semesters ago. So. You felt like that, okay. How did you do it? By the book? Like literally by the book? Like did you get some book, or did you watch my videos, or how did you do it? I guess I can improve them. Hi. By the way, the last time I like this time I do and change thing a little bit, and kind of thought that like something is missing. And I did something, but I think like I kind of overdid it. Like I wanted to do it like a little bit differently. I wanted to have something in the background, just like to put a blur on it so that something like slowly moves behind, like sort of like a lava lamp. But all I could do was this. Check it out. I think it's too much, right? It's like it's kind of like too fast, even though like I slowed it down to like 50 and now it kind of looks like abrupt, but at the same time it's kind of too fast. I kind of think that it's too much. Thank you, Pavel. Do like a poll on this one. Maybe we can even do it. It's like only 6 people, but fine. So create a poll. Question. Matrix. Good. Don't care. There we go. Oh no. Come on, guys, vote. We need to make it like the most important thing that is going to happen today. I was kind of hoping that more people would show up because the number of my Patron like went 48, 112, and accent? Yeah, I feel accent. Yeah. Okay, it looks like the matrix is stained. We can turn it off later if it pisses someone off. Yeah, Anthony, don't worry about it. Like, it's, the thing is that, like, I guess we can start this whole conversation. I kind of would have hired an editor anyway. It's just that, you know, the difference is that, like, I would have paid him or her out of my own pocket, and I still kind of do. But you guys obviously helped me out a lot. So yeah, in fact, I hired like almost 3 people. I have an amazing guy called Michael. He's gonna edit my videos, and I have a girl in who's gonna do my thumbnails, and I also have another designer to go. She's going to help with the design a little bit too. But she's very good at communicating things via design. So together we're going to like basically rebrand the entire channel. It's still going to be called Dev Inside You, but you know, the logo will be different, the brand will be different, the intro, outro. Long term there will be emojis and stuff. Erica, this they're all freaking horrible. Yeah, so I kind of already have enough. And like, I didn't want to make it sound like I'm going to stop or anything. Just that otherwise I would not have been able my self-imposed schedule is that. And I know like many of you say like, you know, don't worry about it. You know, we're going to wait, like take your time and stuff. That's not what YouTube wants. Right, so the YouTube algorithm, you know, wants consistency. Like obviously my subscribers, like you guys, like you're gonna watch my videos anyway. But I also need to find new people. Why? Please don't forget to hit the like button, even on this stream, by the way. You know, just hit the like button. Share my videos. Like not all of them are long as hell, so there are some videos that are easy to be shared. Hey, Artisan. Any idea to launch Udemy course for Scala? Yeah, absolutely. Like now that I have like a lot of help, I will for sure have more people. So there will be more streams, more like hangouts. We're gonna create some projects on stream, but not like the next couple of months, because in the next couple of months I need to build up this buffer of videos. Like I want to produce like 10 videos. I want to be like 10 videos ahead of time. One, so that, you know, I don't feel so much pressure. 2 is because, you know, so that my editors don't feel so, I can give them a video and say, okay, you know, 4 weeks to it. You know, if you're busy with other projects, okay? And then after a couple of months, when everything stabilizes, then we're going to I probably will create a course. I really, really want to create a course about architecture. This has been my favorite topic since forever. I really want to show people like from from the from the smallest level, like how to name variables, up to like really high level, like how to build like, you know, hashtag microservices. In the sense of not like how to actually build them, but like, well, actually, like literally how to build them. You know, like how to structure, build in such a way that you can have like reuse things, that you can compile things fast. Like this is like probably number one issue in Scala. Like everybody's everybody's complaining about the compilation time, and I kind of found a way, which is kind of an easy way, but I haven't seen anyone doing it. Basically, like a way to parallelize compilation without anything like Hydra or anything. Right? So basically, by managing your dependencies carefully. I don't know if it will be on Udemy or not, but this is definitely the plan. I still have not decided whether free or if I should sell them. I guess it really depends on the kind of course. The thing is that like when I do courses on YouTube, I allow myself more because it's kind of hold up. But I like this. What was I saying? Yeah, courses. So on YouTube, I allow myself to experiment with things, to dive into things, to make the courses longer. And if I ever do paid courses, what I will want to do is I will want to make them as small as possible, which sounds counterintuitive, but basically I want people to pay for, not just for the content, but for the time I'm saving them, right? Like, for example, this architecture thing, like I would love to be able to do it in 10 hours, like max. Yes, in my book, 10 hours is short, right? So I think I think it will be easier to sell a course that is only 10 hours long than a course that is like 50 hours. Who's going to watch it? Like I have courses like this on YouTube, like this homegrown collection series on YouTube, long as hell. There are very few people who watched. Yeah, I think so. This is a very good question. Let's highlight it. So, will Scala JVM be the only content we will have, or will Scala JS or Scala native or other languages? Other languages probably only in the very, very long term. But Scala JS for sure. Scala native probably as well, but only like a little bit. Like we'll probably like check it out once. We'll see. But Scala JS for sure. In fact, I recently came up with a project idea that is super small. I think we can do, I don't know, maybe like in 4 2-hour streams. As we know, it's horrible, so it's probably going to be like 8 4-hour streams, but but you get the idea. So yeah, I find Scala JS very interesting. In fact, I wanted to create a course a couple of years about Scala JS. But A, I didn't have the time, and B, I realized that way too many, way too many people don't even know that Scala JS. I don't think that anyone would buy a course like that. But yeah, but this channel will always be one way or the other Scala. Like there will be more content in the sense of, like I like tooling. I love tooling. I love to cover like all kinds of activity tools. I mean, sometimes just, I don't know, look cool. I don't know, like I really love tooling. I said this last live stream, but we didn't have the time to. I also want to else at some point if I can, maybe live. It's always a good video to make to show people how to contribute to, especially new people, because people are usually like a little bit afraid of it, certain, especially like but it doesn't need to be, as long as you know how Git works. Because like for real, like in our industry, I find version control to be one of the like scariest things ever. Like I remember like when I started, I was so afraid that I would merge something wrong and then we will lose the changes that somebody else did. So I find, how can you help me to? Very good question. You kind of already have. Just $1 a month help me to pay the editor. Right now, I'm not paying him what friend of a friend. But like in the future, I would prefer to pay him. Yeah, like how you can help me? Like, well, again, like the sooner we build up this buffer, the more I will do. Not live streams like right now that we just like out. It's gonna be more like a live stream that we actually like build stuff. And I would like to build like shippable products. Like I care about like algorithms and ruler project or hackathons, and I like to build things that actually work. Have you ever touched on blue sky Scala versus Haskell Scala in your video? What do you mean blue sky? Content what can help? Well, again, like essentially like when I do live streams, in the future, like right now I'm a little bit limited by hardware. Like for those of you who don't know, I've been a digital time. Right now my life is stabilizing a little bit, and so eventually I'll build like a desktop, because right now I'm doing everything on a laptop. Like even right now I'm like a little bit terrified that are like thermal throttling during. But eventually, once I'm gonna do a live stream, I will be able to create content during the live stream. So you will be there, kind of like help me out, because like parts of a live stream can become their own. Just that the way this works is that don't just like grab a part of a live stream, cut it out, and just make a video. That's not how it works. Show the viewers this, but behind the scenes you also record like a full image of you or screen, without animations. My mic is cutting in and out. It's probably. Let's see, no, it should be fine. It's probably only when I speak like very like this, maybe. Is it better like this? Let me know. Less like FP Java. Like, so hold on, what was your original question? If I've seen it, have you ever touched? Yeah. I mean, this is how everybody starts. Like like during the university, functional programming, but not like hardcore functional programming. It was like Monad, but just like the fixing of the lambda calculus. And then when I started working, like my first job, had a very simple stack. It was Lyft. Not as popular. We had Mongo. We used Rogue. Rogue is a Foursquare. It was a driver for, and all of this stuff was synchronous, right? So we're not even talking like futures. It was just like synchronous, very simple, and yeah. And so for like the 6 years of work for, okay, so hold on. So like I started doing like Scala in 2010. Okay, I started working in 2013. 6 years later, which was like 2018, I quit my job. So basically for 8 years already, I have been doing like regular blue sky Scala. Then I found one job they doing like Slick, Postgres, Akka HTTP, and so at least there were like future. Now recently I switched to, you know, we're doing tagless final, but our code base is still a lot of it is Monix. Converting it to tagless final. Yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of experience with Scala. However, still like relatively functional, right? So I've never written, you know, like a while loop at work, something like this. You know. Is Scala 3 seeing good adoption? Today I tried to use play with Scala 3. It seems it's not ready. It depends how you, like, what you mean by good adoption. Because, like, the people who were already using Scala, they are very excited about Scala 3. However, a lot of libraries, like specifically the libraries, aren't supported yet. So even the people who would love to switch to Scala 3, they don't yet. Also, Scala 3, like, even though it's amazing, somehow it doesn't have like a killer feature that would like make, like, stop everything you're doing and rewrite everything to Scala 3. It's more like what's the opposite of the death by 1,000 cut expression? Like, it's 1,000, like a really, really small improvement fit together really, really nicely. I love Scala 3. I can't wait until something like Chimney, for example, will be. She advocates for a Scala community that generates good blue sky practices. And I don't want to learn. You're saying she. Who are you talking about? Mic is better, but still cutting. Okay, let me just turn off the. Actually, it's fine. Filters. Oh, I actually have another noise gate over here. It should be much better now, right? It should be much, much better now, I think. I accidentally had like 2 noise gates. Okay. Cool. Flexen, you said confirm. Are you confirming that the mic is cutting out, or are you confirming that it's better? Okay, cool. Awesome. Right, so back to your question. Like, you're saying like she advocates for a Scala community. Who are you talking about? Did I miss something? Who is she? Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. By the way, we can also switch to music. I just wanted something like more fun this time than I don't know. Actually, you can help me like choose the options. So these are like the DMCA free options. Maybe we can go with something like hip hop. Let's see. Yeah, that's more chilled. Let's go with that. Yeah. It's a quote or something. Oh, hey, Joe. By the way, again, thanks all of you guys who became patrons, especially to Joe. And there's another guy. I've written his name down. His name is so hard. Hold up. I need to check. His name is Fred Albieu. I'm not sure. Maybe he's French. Like, these 2 guys just became the 2 like highest tier patrons. I never thought that somebody would ever like do something like this. Please teach everybody else how you print money, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I said this already in the last stream, and I will always, I will always repeat this. the Scala community is not as small as it seems. It's just that the people who create content, people who write blogs, make videos, go to conferences, they're all excited about functional programming. And I even noticed this, like as soon as I make a functional programming video, it just gets more views, right? So everybody's more excited about functional programming. However, there are so many people in the Scala community that are just being quiet, and they're developing normally, they're happy with, Akka or Slick or whatever, and they have like not a single worry in the world, okay? Like for example, Howie is a big advocate for this. He works for Databricks, I believe, and he recently made a cool video about like how they do it. And apparently, like they don't have Scala experts. They neither do like functional programming, nor do they do like the Akka stack and stuff, right? So they just do like very basic things, and everybody's happy, and nobody's like complaining, nobody's arguing. To be honest, like this kind of company is probably an exception, but still, there are many companies who are like happy with the Lightpen stack, for example. Yeah. It's on my to-do list, by the way, to read Howie's book. I would like to make a review about it, because people say that they love it, and because it's one of those things that I think it's going to improve a little bit also with the Scala CLI, because the Scala CLI allows you to much better programming in the small. I remember like even when Scala came out, it was it's a scalable language, right? And so you could do like very small things, and you could, but like nobody did, right? Scala kind of like took over the same niche as Java, like backend web development, and these days everything that is somehow related to data. But like doing small things was, it's not like annoying, but it depends how much you write. Like, and then Ammonite came out, and everybody started like writing. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people started writing scripts and stuff. So yeah, I think the Scala CLI will make it better. All right. Could you talk a bit more about functional programming versus imperative regarding whether the FP approach is strictly better and why? The lame answer is as always, it depends, right? But I would like our entire industry to move away from sort of like these idealistic, like almost religious beliefs. I find like ideas are better, ideas are easier to change. And so I'm going to change your question to why functional programming should be the default, right? Because it should work like this. Like you're giving a project and your first thought is, okay, I'm going to use functional programming. But then you look at the project and you see, okay, functional programming doesn't fit. And then it's totally fine not to use it. Okay, but it should not be the other way around. And the problem like today is that it is the other way around, because it has been taught for years like the other way around. Like most universities, they start with something like C, and so you learn all of this imperative stuff. It's kind of funny, right? You go to high school, you learn about the substitution model for procedure application, right? You have like x equals 5, and then on the entire whiteboard or blackboard, the x will forever stay 5, right? But then you go to the university, you learn C, and all of a sudden you can change this x to whatever you want. And in dynamic languages, you can even change the type, right? So it's kind of weird. So why is functional programming better? The biggest thing about functional programming is that it allows you to worry about less things, because there are things that are just, I'm not going to say impossible, because you can hack everything always. No type system is bulletproof, no tests are bulletproof. There's no practice out there that is bulletproof. And if there was, then AI would develop software from now on, right? Because if there's something that can tell you that your program does exactly what you wanted and it doesn't have any bugs, then you can just like try all the permutation, with AI, and then we would all lose our jobs. Okay, so it's kind of a good thing. So so the biggest thing about functional programming, it constrains you. Like if you constrain yourself to functional programming, because functional programming is a discipline, it's not something that a language is like owes you, then potentially, you will have less bugs. You will have, you will be able to find things easier because you will not need to worry about things like, oh, what is like overriding this method, for example, or what if something, you know, mutates my variable, or what if my future is already running, you know? Yeah, things like this. You're worried about the community is shrinking. I really don't believe that the community is shrinking. It's just that like these, you know, people who are like kind of loud, you know, the content creators, the bloggers, the people who go to conferences, it's kind of like the same people over and over. But like this, I believe that I obviously don't have any data to support this, but I believe that this silent majority that, you know, you just don't see it. Like it's been estimated that there's like 1 million developers. However, let's actually check this out real quick. So if we go to Google Trends, okay, which is the source of truth, okay? So if we search for something like Scala, actually, I believe that there's also like Scala programming language, okay? And we go and, you know, basically since we have data, and we're gonna say that it's like worldwide, and the category is going to be, there's something about like programming software, yeah, maybe software. All right, so you kind of see like this hump, all right? So around like 2016, I don't remember what happened in 2016, but this was like the, you know, the hype, right? And now it kind of like goes down and down and down. So if you look at the data, it feels like, you know, the community is dying, but I don't know, like there's so many jobs out there, like so many people like looking for Scala developers. Even like the company that I work for, well, technically, officially, it's like my client, Avanste, you know, we're hiring, we're growing, we're like, yeah. By the way, if you apply, please mention my name because I get a referral fee and stuff. So, yeah. Have you ever used Scala introspection and reflection? I've been looking into it for some project, not as powerful as expected. Introspection, no. Reflection, very little bit. I kind of always like stayed away from these things. Like I really want to get into macros. Like the problem with Scala 2 macros is that it was announced, it became experimental, but it was so useful that everybody used it, and then, you know, the Scala community just had to maintain it. But it was experimental, so it was always changing, and I never had the time to actually get into it. But now in Scala 3, apparently it's like much safer, much more streamlined. It's faster and whatever. There are still bugs. There are still a couple of things that are not supported. But yeah, if you're looking at reflection, like you should probably look into macros instead. And looking into macros is going to be easier in Scala 3. Let's actually create another poll. I'm kind of curious. Hold on, let me see. Okay, we have like 10 people. It's fine. It's fine for a poll. Okay, so do you believe? Actually, that's just a comment. Hold up, a poll. Do I need to like close this one? What is happening? Hold up. End poll, right? Okay, cool. All right, another one. What is happening? Can I create another one? Can I do like only one poll? Okay, so now it completed. Okay, yeah, okay, there we go. So, do you believe Scala is dying? Yes, no, not sure. There we go. Are you familiar with Herberto Grassa and his summary of architecture patterns? How I put it all together. The most difficult is to translate these patterns into code, especially in Scala. I haven't, but I will write it down right now and I'll check it out. Okay, Herberto Grassa. Architecture. There we go. No, it's not gonna die. Like I said this like so many times. Like nothing in our industry will ever die. And even if it like slows, like there are people who still write COBOL, there are people who still write Fortran, okay, and they're being paid a lot, like a lot, okay. So I have never had a problem with the Scala community being smaller than other communities. You know, we're being paid like better, and yeah, it's a little bit. It takes a little bit more time to find a job, you know, but still, like I don't know, maybe 3 months, you know. So yeah. 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 So most people are saying no, but you know, obviously, like we're biased here, right? We're Scala people, so yeah. Maybe hard translating OOP patterns to more functional settings because the letter already shoehorn you into the right place. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like if you look at all of these, like you know, the Gang of Four books, like people always joke around, you know, in functional programming, well, that's just a lambda, right? So yeah, but they're actually not that far apart. Like you still kind of you don't need many of these patterns. In fact, I remember also reading Effective Java a long time ago, but at that time, like when I read it, I already knew Scala, and so I was like the first, I believe, like the first, like if you haven't read it, by the way, it's basically like a list of things that, you know, like gotchas and like things to avoid and stuff. And like I remember like the first like 25 or something, they were like built into the Scala language. Like the only one that I remember right now was, you know, singletons, but I remember like, there were so many others that were like built into the Scala language or at least encouraged by the language. And yeah, and so the same thing is kind of like with Gang of Four. Scala die, not sure, but I can see some migrations are happening to Scala, specifically in financial sectors. I'm not sure what you mean because Scala has always been very big in the financial sector. There were always like banks that would do Scala. Yeah. Okay, so for me, I work at a company that doesn't recognize Scala developers as such. We're just software engineers, but we choose Scala as our language of choice. Yeah, I mean, I also like, I don't want us to feel like, you know, like there's other developers and we're like Scala developers, we're like above them. That doesn't make sense. Like like as a company, when you hire somebody, you want a good developer. You don't want a good Scala developer. You know, a good developer will always be interested in learning new things, especially things like Scala, because Scala is a language that comes from the industry. There will always be interesting things in Scala. So if you hire a good developer, it will always be somebody who loves to learn, who probably, if he can afford, like, or she, you know, hacks on the weekends, you know, some cool projects, like tries things out. So yeah. By the way, guys, do you know, like I'm a little bit involved in the hiring process at Amazon, very little, but still. Do you want to know like the biggest problem that we have with hiring right now? And it's not that people don't know Scala, it's that people don't speak English. Can you believe? Yeah. Wider software engineering industry in general encourages lead code style interviews, which don't encourage FP style development. Yeah, that's correct. But actually, somebody posted an article yesterday of Netflix. They're changing a couple of things. They're not changing this. Like there will still be lead code, but yeah, I hope that this lead code shit dies someday. Like I, for one, I'm horrible at it, and there's like basically only one reason. Is because I never do this, and I'm too arrogant to even practice for interviews. And so whenever I said this last stream as well, and this hasn't changed, whenever I'm in an interview and they say, okay, let's do some coding challenges, I'm like, let's not even go there. Like, I'm gonna fail. So if this is important to you, we're just not gonna work together. I know that I'm fortunate enough like to be in this position to just say no to companies, but still, like, I hope that like this is going to be my tiny contribution, my tiny sacrifice to this whole notion of lead code interviews dying. Good to see people still engaged about Scala. My team unfortunately didn't engage with it, and we're moving to Kotlin. Sad times, huh? Actually, Kotlin was a lot inspired by Scala, and I believe, what's his name? 47 Degrees is I'm not sure if they're a consultancy, but I think they are. They were like doing Scala, but I think now they do Scala and Kotlin, and I think they ported a couple of libraries and stuff. So Kotlin is not such a bad choice, you know. Obviously, Scala is better, you know, but Kotlin is not a bad choice. Having worked with it now for 4 years or so, it just feels a bit like some of the nice libraries we used to use discontinue being maintained, which is a shame. This is correct. Like, this is actually like one of the biggest problems in the Scala community is that people who actually contribute to the community, there's not like that many of them. It's not because the Scala community is not big. It's just that people who actually like, really passionate, who actually contribute. Like, for example, take someone like Chris Kipp, right? He's like literally the only person who is maintaining the Vim Metals integration. Like, if he doesn't want to do it someday, I'm sure somebody's gonna still like maintain it, but it's not gonna like thrive like like it does now under his command. The similar thing happened to Bloop. I'm not sure how to pronounce his first name. It's either George or Jorge. He started Bloop. Bloop was freaking amazing, and I saw like he wanted like to do like more and more like really cool stuff. Like I remember like he wanted to offload the compilation from SBT to Bloop, but then he went to work for Netflix, and now Bloop is still being maintained, but I believe like it doesn't thrive, and people at Scala Center at Virtus Labs, they're thinking about like even like rewriting it potentially, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so this is like this is really like a kind of like a pain, or like Sam Famil, the one who wrote the Blue Book. He's like trying to resurrect like his version of not his version, like he's trying to resurrect Enzyme, but and he's obviously looking for contributors, but like it's a gigantic job. Like, I have no idea how he has free time to do this, and so just because of this, like the chances of it dying are just like really high, because it's a lot of work and there aren't that many people who have the time or who want to contribute. So yeah, I agree. This is a really big problem in the Scala community. Like, a similar one is that a lot of it comes from research, and so you have like students, they start some cool project, and even though like sometimes they don't have experience, but sometimes they create the really, really cool things. But then they write their PhD or whatever, and then they leave, and maybe the project has a really high chance of dying. Starting a big project, PSD2 related. What is PSD2? No Swagger generators work. Yeah. What is PSD2? When people ask for if they can get a job writing language, usually Haskell or Scala, my reply is that they would just write a code generator targeting whatever their employer uses. Yeah, interesting. I know Scala has some OOP imperative tools available, but are they used in the wild? It depends how you define in the wild. They're clearly used, for sure. However, like how prominent they are is another question. But for sure. Have you ever dabbled in Elixir or Erlang? Yes and no. I know about them. I have not written even a single line of code on them. However, like back in the day, I've written my master's thesis about Akka, and so I know like everything that is related to actors. I know it. Like the one thing that I really liked about Erlang is this idea of having separate heaps for every actor. I believe like even like I haven't touched Akka in many years, but I believe that even today, this is probably the largest problem in Akka. Closing over, over a future or something like this. Like replying to yourself and all this stuff. Like I believe like until today, these are like the biggest like pitfalls, and I believe like these things cannot happen in Erlang. Also, because Erlang is a dynamic language. Like one of the really really cool things about actors was hot deployment. So you can change the behavior of the actor, and in a dynamic language, it's much easier. So, but like again, like how many companies do actually need like hot deployment? If for those of you who don't know what hot deployment is, it basically means that you don't deploy anything. It's you basically like change behavior of your application while it's running, so you can give it like new code to run, which is obviously much easier in a dynamic language, or at least in an interpreted language. Technically, it doesn't have to be dynamic. Okay, so PSD2 is banking related. Okay. It always felt like there were three kinds of devs when it came to Scala: the better Java, the pragmatic FP, OOP hybrid, and then the FP purist. I think this can create bad impressions sometimes. Yeah, and it does. Especially like that, like what I mentioned, that the loudest part of the community is very interested in functional programming. And so newcomers, when they come to Scala, they think, oh, it's all functional. I don't know this. It's all scary. It's all hard, but it's not. I mean, first of all, it's not super hard. And second of all, this is not the only game in town, right? We have other ways to write Scala. Really? Hello bots. Jesus. Okay. Hide user. There we go. Okay. I don't know if you... Okay, yeah, delete it. Awesome. I'm actually curious if it's going to be updated over there. The chat room. I can actually go and just go here. Oh, no, it's fine. I'm just going to leave it. All right, so what were we talking about? If you like separate heaps, check the Cherry project from Cambridge Uni with ARM RISC. I'm not like that interested about it. I just find the idea cool. I really believe that something like this is like super valuable. But I'm not like, it's not like something that I'm like, passionate about, if you know what I mean. So PSD2 is open banking. Oh, cool. All banks share the Swagger API, and there's no good tool to generate the clients. Okay. Okay, so you're interested in Scala as an OOP hybrid. Okay. So are you like, do you use it at work like this, or are you just like, are you just learning for now? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, for sure. For sure. So where are you guys at? Like someone said that they were from Germany. What about everybody else? Oh, you like my shorts? That's cool. You're probably like, you're probably like the only one. Like I made this one short that was really cool. Like the one, did you like it? The one where I had like two people, That was really fun. And it was like I had a vacation for 2 weeks, and I knew that it would take some time to create this. And so I was like, okay, if I want to create it, like this is the time. And so I tried, and I think it was a really cool short. But all the other shorts that I did are like, I don't know, they're kind of boring. But yeah, there will be like, I'll try to do something. Shorts are really great. Like shorts could blow up my channel like crazy. Like somebody asked in the beginning, like how you can like help me to create content and stuff. Just like my videos. That's all. Like my videos and share them. I will try in the future to create a couple more like funny shorts, not just giving advice. Yeah. I'm learning with small project, interested to do more with it. Yeah, go for it. Okay, we got people from UK, Scotland. Okay, I guess it's because it's like evening for you guys. Another content idea is building projects end-to-end, including the AWS or HerokuDB calls. Not sure if your Zio Aga series does that. I'm not there yet. Yeah. So the Techless Final series, and therefore the Zio series as well, because in the Zio series I have rewritten the app from Techless Final to Zio. We use Postgres with Skunk with HTTP4S, but we don't deploy it anywhere. Like I haven't even done like authentication, but there are like, there is an actual database. There's like, Docker thing, there's stuff there. Mumbai, India. Yeah, I recently realized that I have a lot of people from India. And someone actually left a comment on this video of mine, saying that something in India is currently changing, that the internet is becoming cheaper or something like this, and that there's a lot more like basically like learning programming has become more affordable somehow. Got people from UK, Seattle, Canada, Finland. Man, this is so cool, like about the world today, that you can just like hang out with the entire planet. Assuming they have internet. Poland, cześć. And before you ask, no, I don't speak Polish. I just have a lot of Polish friends, and I'm originally from Ukraine, so I understand many things. Denmark. No matter what, I'm Italian. I've been to Italy like a year ago. No, it's actually been longer. Jesus, time flies. It's probably more like 2 years ago. I really love the tramezzini. Oh my God, amazing. Netherlands, Mexico, Egypt, Russia. Wow. What do you mean Egypt/Russia? Like, are you from Russia and you're just like on a vacation in Egypt? I know that a lot of Russians go to Egypt for a vacation. Hang out with strangers on the internet and nobody bats an eyelid. Okay, so internet is getting cheaper in recent times. YouTube has penetrated in even remote villages. Okay, so I have a question. So do you mean that, YouTube just became like more available because internet became available, or is YouTube or like, the company behind YouTube, Google, or Alphabet or whatever, or are they actually becoming an internet provider? Yeah. Like I told a friend of mine, like the only way to pronounce tramezzini is like this. Tramezzini. I'm not being racist or anything. I just, we're all cool people here, right? Don't tell anyone. Yes, I actually were in Padua. Yes, this is exactly where I were. In Padua, yeah, and in Venice. I've been to Venice the same year, but just by accident before. Like on Venice, I was just in Venice. I was just for a vacation, but in Padua, I actually, it was a work thing. And actually, this was also the first time, and I mean, for now, the last time that I've ever been to a Scala conference. It was also in Italy. I don't remember the city. It was something was B, I believe. Anyway, are you familiar with the Java Kotlin library Juby? I wanted to know if there are small web libraries like that in Scala. No, I am not. Let's go and check it out. So, Juby. Easy to use web framework for Java and Kotlin built on top of your favorite web server. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but essentially, like in the Scala ecosystem, we used to have a lot more, but right now it's basically either Play if you want to do server-side templating, or aka HTTP if you want to do client-side templating. And if you're into functional programming, it's basically HTTP4S. There are a couple of things that are currently like growing in Zeal, but I don't think that they're. It's not that they're not production ready. It's just that like I remember there was like this one company and they built their own thing and it works for their use case, but I'm not sure how how frequently they maintain it in terms of the requests of other people. Because like maybe they just like do the things that they need, and I don't know. I haven't checked it, right? But yeah, basically like these are your options. Canada. I actually think there's a significant delay receiving the live here. People answered the question in the chat way before I heard it. Maybe you can play it at double speed and maybe you will just catch up, right? So maybe it's just like a buffering thing. Just play it at double speed and then once we arrive there, then it's gonna be fine. But I'm not sure. Just try it out. Really, you're an Egyptian residing in Russia, like, so it's this way around, really? Like, it's so weird. Like, I know so many Russians that go to Egypt for for a vacation and stuff. There's Scalatra and Skinny. I think they're very similar. Really, they still exist, like Scalatra. I actually don't know what Skinny is. Oh my god, another bot. Let's go ban people. Well, not people, but you know what I mean. Held for review. Hide. Good. Hide. Held for review. Hidden by inside you. Blah blah blah. Okay, so this bot remove. Okay, so I guess like these ones will be removed in a second as well, right? Just want to make sure that they're deleted. Right, this is the same person, so they should be. I think I need to do hide user on this channel, like this. This is what I need to do. Yeah, the user's messages will be hidden. All right, cool. All right, so where were we? Yes, I've never heard of Skinny, and I was not aware that Scalatra is still a thing, but good to know. Okay, cool. So internet is becoming cheaper, just like in general. Okay, because I was worried, that Alphabet was like an internet, was becoming like an internet provider in India. Like, we don't want that. Yes, Bologna, exactly. This was the city, was the conference. It was the Scala Italy conference. It was actually really cool. Could you tell me the name of this Italian dish that has beef tripe? What's tripe? In marinara sauce. No idea. Please help Joe. Do you think the natural language you grew up with influences what programming paradigm you're more likely to resonate with? Anyone read Sanskrit, by the way? No. Paradigm, no. However, native English speakers are going to have a much easier time learning any programming language. It's because most of the terms used in there, they're like, on one hand, they are common English words. Actually, I just said common. They are English words, but they're not common. That's kind of like the point. You know, something like an integer is a very regular English word. However, it's not used in everyday life. And so I remember I'm as you can see, I'm very fluent in English. I actually learned it since kindergarten. So I have been speaking it pretty much my entire life. I've been speaking it for over 30 years. Okay. And when I was learning programming, I did not know that something like integer is a regular English word. Something like string is a regular English word. There are many others, but these are like the obvious ones. Hey Vlad, we met in Bologna. You may remember us. I was there with my wife on the Scala conference party where we had a nice chat with you. I'm really sorry, but I don't. It's been like 2 years, and it's a conference, so you talk to like so many people. But yeah, at least you guys have proved that I actually went to the conference. Okay, so we have a confirmation. You have to go in a few minutes. Have a great evening, guys. Thank you for your content. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching all of this stuff. Thank you for, helping out on Patreon and stuff. And yeah, I'm only doing a great job because you guys deserve it. Really, like, we know that, you guys know that internet can be like a horrible place where people like leave a bunch of like horrible, comments and stuff. But somehow I managed to find like the coolest people on the internet. So I have to thank you as well. So thank you. Zio HTTP, yeah, like it probably was like Zio HTTP. Yeah. I'm seeing these comments again. Like, what the? Oh no, they already deleted. Okay, cool. Okay, and by the way, about this one, okay, so we decided that Scala is not dying. Great. Cool. Good to know. I came across your premiere dance video. It was nice. You're multi-talented. My dance video? Are you talking about Shut Up and Mambo? For those of you guys who don't know, there was a time in the previous life I used to dance salsa. It's not like I learned it as a kid. No. It was just like a social thing. I did it like for 1.5 years, and at the end we did like a small show, and it's actually here on YouTube, so we can. It's obviously not on the Dev Inside You channel. It's on my like personal channel where I don't post anything. Shut Up and Mambo. All right. Do you want to see this stuff? Hold up. Can I? Let's pause the music. We're gonna watch me dance. Let me know if it's too loud. So that's me. Check it out over here. So I'm like in the bag, but we're gonna change positions at some point. This was like 6 months of rehearsals. I think once or twice a week, I don't remember. The torture will be over soon, don't worry, guys. See you, Zoltan. Yeah, so most people over there were actually beginners. Like at least like half. At least like half of the people there were beginners. Hey Vlad, just wanted to ask for some tips on beginning to contribute to open source Scala libraries. Anytime I try, it just seems like I don't know what I'm doing because all the issues seem so hard. So I should probably make a video about this, but open source does not mean that you just go to like a random repo and you just grab an issue and you just do it. Open source is all about the community, about the communication. Like remember that you're actually helping somebody out. So this person, you know, the main maintainer of the project is going to be very, and I mean very interesting in your success, right? So usually they will help you out a lot. So don't just go and grab a random issue. A lot of projects will have like a label. Usually it's called like a good first time issue. And so check those. But in general, find a way to communicate with the maintainers first and ask them to help you, ask questions. Like you will be surprised, like most of the time, those people, they pretty much actually do like the whole work for you in terms of like actually developing it. You're just the one who like, you know, doing, you know, writing the code. Okay. So communicate, like this is the answer. Communicate. Zio apparently is a very welcoming community. They're very interested in growing. But this is something that you can like generalize. You can say this about everyone who has ever created a project, whether it's open source or not, and then years later realize like, hey, I'm the only guy who maintains this stuff. We'll be very thankful for your contribution. So talk to them, ask them to guide you, and they will gladly do it. Yeah, I'm sorry again that I don't remember you, Zoltan, but I think you left anyway right now. Yeah. I had it once. It's much harder than if you. What are you talking about? What did I miss again? What are you talking about? Yeah, from salsa to Scala. No, like technically, I already, you know, I was doing Scala long before I did salsa. Yeah, good show. Yeah, I know. It was fun. Yeah. I really hope that I will never teach you salsa, or that I will never like have to teach you salsa. In fact, I actually need to learn forró. Any Brazilians here, by the way? Really cool step execution. Yeah, actually, like the only like negative feedback I received about this is that I had to like pay attention to what I'm doing with my hands, because apparently I was just doing like this with my hands, and I received this feedback many times, but I don't know. I didn't manage to improve it back then. Yeah, some really cool steps. Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh man, it's already been longer than an hour. That's crazy, time flies. Let me actually check. I wrote down a couple of notes, like a couple of things that I wanted to mention. Maybe I forgot something. Okay, so I did that. Yeah. Yeah, so we're still on the road to 500 patrons, guys. Probably most of you here are already contributing, but just remember, like, you don't need to give more than $1. It's enough, because like if there's many of you, it all sums up. So it's all good. And by the way, sorry about the clickbait title. I called it like the end of Dev Inside You, because I really needed you to click. Yeah, my note's finished. It's hilarious. We were just like talking about like Scala dying, and I just received a comment on my Scala is dead short. It's actually Jakub, who's also creating content here, and he says like, I only clicked because I genuinely wanted to see what hides under the clickbait. Yeah. All right. Good night. By the way, what do you guys think about this particular time in a day for streaming? So I'm in Brazil, and we started out at 2 o'clock, so 14 o'clock, like 2 p.m. We're getting like 17 viewers, which is like around like the same as we did last time. So I think it's kind of like fine-ish, because like if I want to stream more, like I really want to stream more, and I really mean like building stuff. I will try not to create a schedule, but I'm just like a person who likes routine, so I will try to stream around the same time every time, and it's probably always going to be on a Saturday. Yeah, but I really don't want to have like a fixed schedule. I find it like a little bit too stressful. It should become better with, because I have editors now and stuff. So I'll probably take some time to relax, and then maybe I will do also a schedule for live streams. Yeah, the thing is that like a schedule for videos is much easier to maintain than a schedule for live streams. Like for example, if I'm not in a good mood, I can just like not record the video. I can record it some other day. But the schedule for live streams is very different. Yeah, sure, no worries. Yeah. I'll slow down. It's all good. I'm just saying that I'm a person who really likes routine. So it's just easier for me to know that, okay, on Saturday at like 2 o'clock I just have to stream, and therefore I will like arrange everything else in such a way that I can make it happen. Oh yeah, only now I actually saw what you mean. You mean the song. It's the name of the song, not the playlist. Moving Too Fast is the name of the song. Yeah. It doesn't seem like questions right now. I actually have like a tiny thing to do. Scala FMT version came out, so I need to quickly update it, because I maintain like my Scala seed templates. Thank you, Atmarozhenka. Really? Like you're Russian? Yeah, so I actually just need to the Scala seed, and I just need to update the Scala FMT version. This one. And that's it. And we're gonna do the same thing for this one. Oh, hold on. No, just go. What did I do? All right, there we go. And usually whenever I do this, oh, interesting. Forgot that I had it open. Usually when I do this, I just go like into the temp directory and I just create them just to be like 100% sure. Great. Almost made it. What is happening? My Vim thing doesn't work. Sometimes happens. Sure. Actually, I don't even need this. I just want to see. I just always like create a project and I just run, the style check and see if it generates like an error message or a diff. So we should be done real quickly. Do you have any other questions? Because again, I don't really have this time anything prepared. I wasn't planning on streaming. In fact, the last time we streamed was in August, and I wanted to do it more often. So it's been not almost a year, but 6 months, 7 months. Should probably kill this guy. This is one of those things where I'm getting really genuinely concerned about thermal throttling. When I'm firing up the Scala compiler and streaming and everything at the same time from a laptop. So this will be a good test for seeing if we're going to do something like this in the future. What happened? I cannot type here anymore. Whatever that was. All right, so style check was fine. Style fix is fine as well. All right. Actually, we could have just seen if there are any other updates, but I don't think that there are any other updates. Oh, there is something. Word remover. 2417. Not now. What happened? Find the 6. And there we go. Okay, so let's see. All right, so whoa, really? Let's go check this out. Yeah, let's have a live every day. Elaborate on Scala and Akka will not die in the next 3 years. Well, Akka will not die, but again, like I said this many times. Like Akka, like actors in general, are not a good fit for most problems. For most like user-facing applications. And so we're gonna see less and less of it. But it's really great for building tools. For building Akka streaming, for building something like Spark, for building something like Kafka. So if you use it for building other tools, it's actually really great. Oh, that's annoying. They didn't backport this macro, right? They didn't backport this macro to Scala 2, so I'm forced to use extend app. Oh man, I don't want it to complain. Do I find Scala.js easy to work with, or is it not obvious? I know they're working on onboarding, but I can't seem to understand it. So like getting started with Scala.js is trivial, right? There's a Jira template. You just like clone it and you start working on it. We can actually do this a bit later. I haven't touched it in years. And then like doing basic things is fine. But then like it generates like one like Scala.js file. And I found like that part a little bit, how do I say, lacking. Because if you want to like properly develop an application like in Scala.js, whether it was like, React, Scala.js React, or with Slinky or something like this, then you need to mess around a lot with SBT, like to teach it like where to generate stuff, like how to find it. And there are plugins for this as well, but you need to like dive into this whole community. Like I really didn't like that part, but the language itself, I mean, I don't know, the documentation seems fine. So yeah. Okay, so this is annoying because like this is the Scala 2 template, but the latest version of Word Remover warns about using the app trait, and the link that it uses is for Scala 3. There is like 99.99% of the time there's nothing wrong with using the app trait. It does use this magic delayed init thing, which is it says that it's no longer available and blah blah blah, but it is totally available. Okay. But fine, let's just rewrite it to the regular thing. Let me check this one real quick. And by the way, this is also why like you should always like test your software. Even something simple like all I did was just update a dependency, and yeah, now it produces warnings, and I don't want my templates to produce a warning. So let's test it real quick. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I meant. Like Scala.js itself is actually fine, but this whole like everything related to SBT is like scary. All right, so I think the Scala 3 template is fine. Okay, so we can close this one, go here, remove everything over here, and we need to go over here and we need to find the plugins and find the 6 replaced with this 7, and we can also, no, not now, we can also open the main, which is this one, and we can just rewrite it like this, and this is just going to be It's been so long since I have written something like this. Args, which is like an array of string, and it's going to produce a unit, and I'm going to have an open brace here, closing brace here, and just going to move these guys to the side like this. All right, so let's go and try this again. Scala seed. By the way, guys, if you have questions about anything that I type or something, just ask and I will answer. For example, this GI thing that I just typed, it's just an alias for git init. It just does, you know, git init, and then it throws everything in there that is laying around. All right. So G is just git. Gcam is Jesus. So this is just at all, and this is just git commit half-nam. Okay, so most of them come from ZSH, but many of them some of them I have overwritten. I believe like gcam, like over here, like git at all. I changed this because I want Git to behave in such a way that everything that I add into the directory is kind of like marked to be added anyway. Good night, man. Thanks for dropping by. All right, so style check is fine, style fix is fine, test is fine, run. So it didn't produce a warning, right? It's all good. Yeah. Okay, cool. So there's no diff. So we're just gonna remove that and that. And by the way, this is the one cool thing. So this is Beoble, which is like a wrapper around Tmux, and I made a video about this. And one of the cool things is that it can do is, if I press Alt F9, it now can send the same command to all tabs. So I have an alias HK, which is just like housekeeping. So I'm just gonna do like housekeeping, and it's just gonna like commit and push it all, and it's all gone. Ta-da! Let's go back to the talk scene. All right. So I don't have like anything else to discuss. Like if you have any questions about, I don't know, like where I come from, I don't know, any kinds of questions, then I'll stay for like another half an hour. Apart from that, like, yeah, we can just like end it here. By the way, I just remembered one thing, like for those of you who are my patrons and you have joined Discord, please make sure to actually connect your Patreon account with Discord, and this way you will gain. There's a bot that will assign a role to you on Discord, and therefore you will be able to view a hidden channel called Patrons Only. I can actually show it to you. Patrons Only over here. Okay, so over here, like over there, I post like videos that are coming out. Like this video, extreme effect tracking. It's actually coming out tonight. Well, for me tonight. For you, it might be, you know, tomorrow. Depends how late it is. And obviously, also if you're one of my patrons, then I usually update this post with the early access. And there were times, as I said in that video, is that, you know, I had like 8 videos here, which gave me like 2 months of free time to develop like longer courses or, you know, run experiments. And we're going to build this buffer again. We're gonna build a wall. We're gonna build a buffer. Yeah, and then I'll have more free time to, you know, to start streaming again and stuff. Yeah, so if you joined my Discord, make sure that you have actually, so if you're one of my patrons, make sure that you actually connected, and then you will have access to this channel. And by the way, there will be giveaways at some point. I talked to a couple of book authors. I don't remember which one said yes, but I think most of them said yes. And there will be giveaways of books at some point as well. I'll probably always create them on live stream, and then announce them in future videos as well. Is Dev Inside You your main gig, or do you also have a day job? Bro, Dev Inside You is making almost nothing. I mean, until you guys like change your mind and give me a bunch of money. So right now, this channel is making enough for me to pay for the editors and designers. No, I have a full-time job. Like technically, I'm a freelancer, and like my full-time job is actually like I have a client for all my work full-time, which is a Avance, and we're hiring. I'll mention it actually in the video that is coming up again. That's coming out tomorrow. Actually, I can look it up real quick. So this is the video that is going to come out, and there's a link to the job description over here, and we can go and check it out. We can click this one. Okay, so this is the company that I work for. They're not paying me anything for saying this. However, I do get a referral fee, so please mention that you're coming from me if you apply. So we have it used to be Monix, now it's a tagless final code base. Anytime people learn about Avance, the first question is always whether it's like Airbnb. No, it's not. We are hiring our own houses. I mean, we lease the houses, right? But yeah, so we have like a website that we maintain, a customer-facing website, and also like a backend platform that we're also maintaining. So yeah, so you can like read stuff here. We're like fully remote. You need to be a freelancer, so you need to be capable of sending invoices. Joe, whether we hire beginner functional programming developers, depends how beginner. Technically, no, but we might be able to make an exception. So yeah, so if you're already a good developer, you're just like kind of like new to Scala, depends how fast you learn and stuff. So maybe I cannot promise anything. Just apply, and we'll see. Yeah, so we do like classic stuff. There's GraphQL, there's Postgres. We use Quill. We're not super happy with Quill, but it's fine. We actually still use Sangria for GraphQL. We don't have any Zeal, but we have Cats Effect stuff. We're also moving to Cats Effect 3. We would love to move to Scala 3 as well, but it's gonna take forever. What else do we have? We even use like things like Tofu, if you're familiar. It's a tagless final thingy. Yeah, I'll post this link in the chat. There you go. Close that one. All right, guys. Like, I think like if you don't have any more, any more questions, or I don't know, because I haven't like prepared anything for this one. In fact, I spent a lot of time just like making sure that this whole thing even works. And as you have seen, there were some technical issues in the beginning. So yeah. I'll hang around a little bit in case you come up with questions or something, but thanks for showing up. We're gonna do this more often. Again, probably not like this. We're probably gonna like code more. By the way, since like the Scala community is so small, go and subscribe to Jakob's channel. Jakob, yeah, this guy. You probably already have subscribed to him, right? But he's doing cool things, and he could use a couple more subscribers. I'm gonna post a link to his channel as well. Yeah, man, see you next time. I don't know how some people, stream for like 8 hours a day, like doing what? And also like the people who watch, like, where does the time come from? Thank you for showing up. Hi, new people. See? Aw, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we are. Let's actually build it in that one. Yeah, playing a game and stuff. I actually also want to do like a little bit of gaming content, but not on a laptop. And I would like to like game with you guys as well. Like I used to game a lot, but these days like I game like almost nothing. I don't have free time, but I should have more free time now. So maybe we can do some gaming sessions. I don't know, maybe only with patrons. I don't know, because like eventually like we can do like a lot of cool things with like Discord as well. Like you can talk on my stream if you want. We'll see. We'll probably do some sort of like also like live mentoring or some stuff like this. There are like so many things that we can do. But the biggest thing that I actually want to do is I want to create actual projects. I have so many cool ideas. Some of them are ambitious, but a lot of them are small. And one of them is actually in Scala.js, right? And I haven't used Scala.js much, so we're going to learn together. Do you guys play games? Like my very first video actually mentions that a lot of developers come from gaming. At least this is how it was a long time ago. I don't know how it is now. Do you have any like content to suggest? Like anything that you would love to see? I know some people want Aka, but I'm currently not interested in creating any light band content. Not because it's bad technology. It's just I just don't find it interesting right now. And also like there's a lot of things that I want and need to learn for myself. And these things don't always align perfectly well with what my YouTube channel needs. For example, I'm really interested in DevOps. I would love to become an expert in things like Nix, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS. Also, even like basic things like Postgres. Like I consider myself an expert in Mongo because I've used it for like 6 years. Like many things changed, but still. But I'm just not that much interested in Mongo anymore. But we can use it like in some video. But like Postgres is like as old as me. Postgres is like a freaking programming language. Like most people obviously know the basics of SQL. You know how you can read stuff, how you can write stuff, maybe how you can write some fancy queries. But it has stuff in there that is like, I don't know, like you can write your entire application in Postgres. You would just have like a thin layer that would just like call stuff in Postgres and just like display it on, like throw it on the website. Yeah. So things like this. Also like things like GraphQL. I wanted to make videos about GraphQL since forever. And usually when I say I want to make videos, I mean that I want to like study this so much that I feel okay making a video about it, Yeah, so I'm definitely hanging out until this hour ends. So let's select some other music, something a little bit, I don't know. I really like this Christmas playlist. I know it's not Christmas, but I really like it. I don't know. So chilled. By the way, like a lot of you guys probably, well, hopefully a lot of you work remotely. If you need any advice about like gear, like how to look good on camera, not for content creation, obviously, but to have meetings and stuff, feel free to ask me. Like these days, I'm like somewhat of an expert. Coincidentally, not sure how true this is, but I think SQL itself is functional as opposed to imperative. Yeah, it is. It's called declarative, which is like sort of like an umbrella. Functional programming is also declarative. Yes, it is. It is, and so is spreadsheets. That's a good point. That's a good point. I always encourage you guys to play around. Like the video that is coming out tonight, like the first part and the second part of it, it's just playing around. I always had this idea. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this video since you guys don't have any questions anyway. I've always been a big fan of architecture, right? And in architecture, you always have like this core submodule. Like in SBT, this would be like a sub project, and inside of core you have your business logic, and you should not have anything related to your web framework in there. No JSON, no database drivers, even like no concurrency and stuff, right? It's just like business logic, like if it's time like to pay your employees, then you pay your employees. Okay, that's like, it should be like super tiny. Okay, and I have always asked myself this question, like, okay, but what about like libraries? Not like frameworks, but like libraries, like not database stuff, not web framework stuff, but something like Yoda time. Like these days, like the time API is inside of the standard library. And again, like this is another question, like what about the standard library, right? So you kind of depend on the standard library. We kind of don't even think about it, but we do, right? And so you have a business logic, but there's still something above it, the standard library, or something like, a date API library, or something like Apache. What the hell was this thing? That thing was the utilities from Apache Commons, something like this. We're just kind of like throwing them all in there. And now this kind of means that you cannot start writing your business logic before you choose those libraries, which is kind of weird. And so I have always asked myself this question, like, what if I don't use anything? And so this video is about this. And like to me, the answer has always been type classes, and therefore I accidentally ended up with the most extreme version of effect tracking, even though I technically did not have any effects. I'll actually give you a sneak peek. Why not? It's my channel. I can do whatever I want. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? Let's go to this one. Okay, and let's see if I have something in there. Okay, I don't. So repo clone, dev inside you. I think I call it invoice generator. By the way, the code is already there, so you can look at the code even before, before the video comes out. All right, so let's go in there, and we're just gonna like open it with Visual Studio Code. No, we actually cannot open it with Visual Studio Code. By the way, guys, when you watch this video, I try to make this super clear, but I always get questions to this. This repository contains 4 different projects. They have nothing to do with each other, so you need to go into one of them, and and then you need to start, Visual Studio Code or whatever you have, okay? Because otherwise, Metals is not going to work. IntelliJ might be able to understand it, but Metals is not going to understand it because Metals does not support multiple roots in the same workspace. Come on, wake up. And there we go, import the build. So essentially, like in the core of my application, I ended up with this monstrosity, right? So this is like the business logic, right? I can generate invoices. I give it a year. I give it a first invoice number. Like I allowed myself to use the primitive types, right? But nothing else from the standard library. No dates, no collections, not even tuples. And so I ended up like with this monstrosity where I couldn't even use a case class for an invoice, because inside of my invoice, I want to have something like a date, but I don't have a date. And so I needed a parameter. And if you just have like a parameterized case class, it's going to be harder to pattern match on it. And so I didn't want to have a case class. And so invoice is something like this, which is just a trait. And you can make it, right, by giving it like some numbers and stuff. We should probably restart Bloop because we're in WSL. By the way, this thing is going to be fixed in Bloop. Like, so I'm using WSL. I'm having like currently multiple distributions running. The one that I use like to develop projects and the one that I usually use on camera. And Bloop uses like the regular network connection. And so when you have like multiple of them running, then it tries to like connect to the one on the other machine. And it can't. But apparently, like Bloop is going to switch to Java 17, and Java 17 has I don't remember how it's called. It's like some socket thing. Essentially, Bloop is going to use like these sockets instead of going through the network. So this is not going to be an issue anymore. Okay, so I think we can connect to build server. Let's have a look at the logs. Output. Else. Yeah, okay, so see, it's fine. So now it's compiling. Let's actually do a cascade compile. Deduplicating, blah blah blah. Okay, so now I can actually jump around. Okay, so yeah, so like we're at the top, and like this is my invoice, and I can actually jump in there. Let's find the implementations. Oh, it cannot do this. Interesting. Implementations? No. Control B? No. I was hoping that I would actually jump to this trait. Oh yeah, but it's not a trait. I just called it like this, right? So only over here, like over here. Yeah. So it was not Metal's fault. It was my fault. Okay. So I ended up like, so this is going to be a case class in the end, right? So but this is essentially sort of like an applicative functor, like it can create an invoice. So you give it a number, you give it some parameter, which is going to be a date, obviously. And then I couldn't even use option. So I ended up like parameterizing that as well. So I call it M for like maybe. And so it ended up like with this monstrosity. Yeah. So this is the end of the sneak peek. The last 10 minutes, guys, ask questions. Somebody asked like how you can help me to create content. Well, this is how. Ask questions. ROR, what is that? Let's go check it out. ROR. Oh, Ruby on Rails. Really? It still is popular? I did not know that. Yes, I'm a noob. I did not know that ROR is Ruby on Rails. It feels like everybody in the chat knew that. Okay, so in US it's still a big thing. Interesting. Good to know. remember a long time ago, and like I already knew Scala at the time. I believe it was some YouTube conference talk. Yeah, some conference talk, and it was uploaded to YouTube. Like somebody was like introducing Ruby, and I looked at it and I was like, well, I guess before Scala it made sense, but now that we have Scala, it's like typed and it's still, the syntax is very nice. Why would you even still do Ruby? Especially after Play Framework came up, because Play Framework is very much inspired by Ruby. Do you have any good book recommendations for architecture? I feel like it's something I really need to push myself to learn next. It really depends so first of all, no. It really depends what you define as architecture, because to me, architecture is all about managing dependencies. And if you define architecture the same way, then I would recommend Clean Architecture by Uncle Bob. Actually, I bought it, but I haven't read it because I have watched his video about it, and like I skimmed through it, and it's pretty much all the stuff that I already knew. Like I have already myself created many videos about architecture, and I mentioned this in the beginning of the stream. I actually want to create a course about architecture. I basically improved upon like everything I know about architecture, and I actually called it the diamond architecture, because if you like arrange, you can like arrange the submodules in such a way that it will take a shape of a diamond. I mean, DDD is probably a good book as well, which I haven't read as well, but it's a classic. So, what do I think about Clojure? I haven't touched it in many years. What I know about it is that Rich Hickey is a very smart guy. I always wanted to play with Datomic, which is this database for Clojure, mostly for Clojure. I heard many good things about Clojure. I know many Scala people like Clojure as well. I mean, obviously, those people who like Lisp, because for those of you who don't know, Clojure is a Lisp on the JVM, essentially. Apparently, there are some cool ideas related to concurrency in there. So I think good things about Clojure, but I have never written even a single line. What is your opinion? Would one become a senior developer? I've been getting tons of offers, but the years in development is not high enough. I have 6 years, just curious. Don't take this the wrong way, but like when you're applying, obviously people look at these numbers. But in terms of knowledge, it's not all about the years. Like I'm working like right now with a couple of guys, and like some of them are super young. They're like 23 years old, and they know shit that I don't. So depending on the company, depending on like how small it is, like how startup-ish it is, it's not all about the years. And also you become a senior just by programming more, and also by realizing that the senior developer is not just someone who is technically capable, so it's not all about programming. Like in fact, the more senior you become, like kind of like the less programming you do, sort of like, unfortunately, because you just like you end up being in meetings, you end up helping juniors. So understand that it's not all about programming. What projects beside the e-commerce, blog, etc. projects you would like to be seen? What do you mean? You mean like you want to create like a project to, that will help you to like apply for jobs? Yeah, like hexagonal, like all of these architectures, they're so similar, right? They're like, here's the thing, like guys, like about like managing dependencies and everything. We're like one-trick ponies. It's like the answer is dependency inversion. Okay, obviously the devil is in the details, but like as soon as you have a trait that defines some behavior and the implementation of this trait in another submodule, like in another like SBT sub project or something like this, if you do that, you're doing great. You're doing better than 90% of the code bases that I have ever seen. Right? Because imagine, like, if you have a business logic, the business logic needs something. It needs to talk to Google. It needs to talk to Stripe. It needs to talk to the database. It just defines the traits with the functions like, hey, give me stuff, or like, update stuff, right? So basically reads and writes, okay? And then if you have the implementation of this trait in another sub-project, and this sub-project will have a dependency on something like Quill or Skunk or something else like this, you're already doing great. And then you will have another sub-project that has a dependency on something like HTTP4S to send client requests, to send like HTTP client requests, okay? So they don't know anything about each other. You put some sort of facade on top of them inside of the core of your application. You're already doing great. Like, this is like 99% of good architecture. Everything else is just like, how do you make it like less annoying, more painless, less painful, because like these things they come was a bit of boilerplate. I'd absolutely love to learn Clojure more than I already know. It's such a different language. It feels like it distills things down to the problems you're trying to solve. It depends. I mean, it's only very different if you have never heard of Lisp, if you've never read something like SICP or something like this, right? Because otherwise, it's not like, most languages are not like that much different from each other. But yeah, it's a very interesting language. Yeah, this is correct. Like the market is pushing for years of experience. This is correct, but also, like, what do you really want? Like, do you want just your title to say that you're a senior developer? Just put it on your CV, man. Like, nobody cares. Like, I have like, my CV says that, that in my previous position I was a tech lead, and I was, but so what? So I don't know. Like, at least to me, it's not like, unless you're like in a corporate environment, like FANG and stuff. Normal, like relatively small companies, they won't care. Like, it takes me 5 minutes to figure out like if you're a senior or not. Like if you're sitting like in front of me and we're talking on like an interview kind of call, like you don't need much. You just see it. Like, I don't need you to write any code. Like, you just see like if you're a senior or not, just by your attitude and stuff, and like how you answer questions, like how you approach things. Like, you don't even need to solve any technical problems for me to be able to figure out whether you're a senior or not. Like, I would be looking for things like humility and understanding, like accepting the fact that nothing is perfect, that there's no like perfect language, perfect technology, blah, 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 like all of these things. It takes like 5 minutes to figure out whether you're a senior or not. Is there a future for functional programming? Of course. Like, yeah. Like, in fact, the question should be, is there a future for imperative programming? It's not like it's going to die, like nothing is ever going to die, but for sure, like we're having like what, like 32 cores now on our CPUs, for sure. Yeah, that's true, guys. Like, no matter what you do, the time's gonna pass anyway. All right, guys, we made it. It's 2 hours. I'm actually kind of getting hungry. And yeah, like I will do more streams, and we're gonna develop really cool shit. I'm just really like, I almost solved my problem with like free time, was like hiring people. But I'm really concerned about like streaming from my laptop. Like, it seems fine like right now, and we also like did a little bit of code. We heat up the room a little bit with the Scala compiler, but I'm really worried about my laptop thermal throttling during a stream. So until I solve this problem, there won't be like any like coding streams. Okay, but there will be for sure. Like eventually, I really want to build cool stuff. Yeah. Okay, so last chance. Any last questions? Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, you have no idea like how much I missed just like hanging out with you guys, because I know you have questions. Um, yeah, and it's like so many of you. There's like right now there's more than 7,000 of you, right? But like over here right now, it's like 10 people. There was like 20 people at some point, which is fine. This is very normal for streaming, and it's not all about the numbers. Like I'm fine with just like hanging out with you if you're just like 10 people. I have zero problems with that. Even like if like one of you shows up, it doesn't bother me at all. I just want to like build cool stuff live, so that you can ask questions, like not just like questions like this, but like questions like about code, like, hey, why did you do it like this, or what if we do it like that, like pair programming style stuff. Yeah, thank you guys, and again, like thank you guys for your support. Like a lot of you have written like insanely like heartwarming, is that a word, heartwarming, yeah, I guess, comments, like yeah, thank you again. Cool. I see you soon. Very soon. Bye.